Hello everyone, I am the Wolf Cook and welcome to the Wolf Kitchen. Today I will be cooking another restaurant quality meal that you can cook in your own kitchen. That's going to be good and wolf-a-licking. Us wolves really love this meat because we eat everything on it except their feet. But you humans don't leave nothing out because y'all eat everything on it from the tail to the snout. Today, we are cooking a tender and juicy boneless pork loin with garlic mashed potatoes and a caramelized green apple sauce. And with my step-by-step instructions, you can make it at a fraction of the cost. And why? Because as always, my recipe has been Wolfcook tested and Wolfcook approved. Now, before we get started, for those of you who are visiting my channel for the very first time or you have not yet subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and notification bell and let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is the ingredients. And all the ingredients, measurements, and cooking instructions can be found below in the description. First we have boneless pork loin. Just make sure to leave the pork loin at room temperature for 1 hour before cooking it. To season the pork loin, we have salt, pepper, smoked paprika, seasoned salt, thyme, rosemary, garlic powder, onion powder, and we have some room temperature butter. And to garnish the pork loin, we have some parsley flakes. Next, today we're going to be using a MeatStick Mini. And this is a wireless meat thermometer. It comes with a mini charger and it is Bluetooth. First, you download the software to your phone and then you put the thermometer into the thickest part of the meat. And you set your desired temperature, and the thermometer will first alert you when it's almost done and send another alert when it has reached your desired temperature. Next, we have the cut up potatoes. This will make the mashed potatoes, and we are going to add some garlic powder to the potatoes while it's boiling. Next, we have caramelized green apple. To make our caramelized green apple sauce, we're going to use the diced green apples, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 cup of apple juice, and 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. Now, we are going to bring this all together.
And now it's time to season the pork loin. I'm going to start by mixing all these seasonings together. I'm going to start by adding the salt to the mixing bowl. Now the pepper. Next, the smoked paprika. Now the seasoned salt. Now I'm going to add the thyme. Now the rosemary. Now the garlic powder. And last, the onion powder. And now I'm going to get a spoon and thoroughly mix this all together. And while I'm mixing, I'm going to take this time to tell you that you should preheat your oven to 450 degrees. And now that I'm finished mixing, it is time to use the butter to coat the pork loin. I'm going to get a handful of butter and start coating. I'm going to make sure to spread butter over the entire pork loin. Now it's time to add the season to the entire pork loin. I'm going to make sure I thoroughly season the pork loin. And now that I've finished seasoning it, it is time to get ready for the oven. Now that I've placed my pork loin into the baking dish, I'm going to open up the MeatStick app. Now I'm going to program the MeatStick for the pork loin. It is very simple to set up. For the type of meat, I'm going to choose pork. Then it'll show you the type of pork to choose from. I'm going to choose the loin roast. And then you set your desired temperature. Medium is 145 degrees, but I'm comfortable with 155 degrees. So I'm going to set this to 155 degrees. And once you finish setting your desired temperature, it's going to send the information to the MeatStick. And once that's done, I'm going to insert the MeatStick into the pork loin. Make sure the metal part go completely into the meat. Also, you want to make sure the MeatStick charger is no further than 6 feet away from the MeatStick. And now I'm going to place the pork loin into the oven. Now I'm just going to wait for the MeatStick to tell me when it's almost done. I'm going to first start off by melting some butter into a heated pan. Then when the butter is almost melted, I'm going to add in the diced apples. And I'm going to keep stirring until the butter starts simmering. Now it's time to add in the cinnamon. I'm going to mix the cinnamon in. Once the butter starts to simmer, it is time to add in the apple juice. Then you're going to bring this to a boil. Once it starts boiling, it is time to add in the barbecue sauce. Then I'm going to stir that in. And once it comes back to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat and then simmer for 15 minutes. And now to the potatoes. Into the boiling water, I'm going to add my cut up potatoes. Now I'm going to add the garlic powder. Now I'm going to stir that in and bring to a boil. And after it starts boiling, I'm going to let it boil for 20 minutes on medium high. My green apples have been cooking for 15 minutes. And they look good. And at this time, you can test the texture by tasting one of the pieces of the diced apples. I'm going to let cook for 3 more minutes. It has been 3 minutes later, and the sauce looks good. I have already tested the texture of the apples, and it is ready. I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to check on the potatoes. My potatoes have been cooking for 20 minutes. I'm going to give them a quick stir and test the texture of the potatoes. The texture looks good. I'm going to turn off the burner and let them stay in the water for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to drain the water. And then I'm going to wait until the pork loin is rested to make the mashed potatoes. I've just got an early warning alert on my phone that the pork loin is almost done. A couple of minutes later, and the next alert showing my pork loin is done. This sure is a nice way to cook. It's showing the total cooking time as 51 minutes. Now it's time to remove the pork loin from the oven. It sure looks good and smells good. Now I'm going to take it out the baking dish and put it on the cutting board. Now I'm going to let this rest on my cutting board for 10 minutes. While my pork loin is resting, I'm going to make my mashed potatoes. Now I'm going to dump the potatoes into the bowl. Next, I'm going to use my potato masher and mash the potatoes. Once I have finished mashing, now I'm going to add some parsley flakes. Next, I'm going to add in some melted butter. Then you want to thoroughly blend that in. And then I'm going to keep blending and mashing until I have the right consistency. Now at this time, you can season to taste. And this is right where I want it to be. I am done. Now it's time to check on the pork loin. My pork loin has finished resting, and now it's time to slice. Wow, look at that. It looks so juicy and tender. Look at that juice coming out. Now I'm going to slice a couple of more pieces. Wow, it sliced good. It looks good. And you can smell that rosemary. I'm going to have to cut a piece to taste. Now it's time to plate. First, I'm going to add the mashed potatoes. Next, I'm going to add the pork loin. Now I'm going to add the caramelized apple sauce. Next, I'm going to garnish with parsley flakes. And there you go, everyone, all done. Pork tenderloin with mashed potatoes and my caramelized applesauce.
Well, everyone, my boneless pork loin dish is done, and it tastes delicious, and it smells so good. And me and Mrs. Wolf can't wait to sink our teeth into this wolf-tastic treat. Also, this MeatStick Mini I used today worked out really well, and I will be using it in some of my future videos. If you like it, you can go to themeatstick.com to purchase one, because I really do like it. If this is your first time to my channel, I encourage you to return. But if you have been here before, I thank you very, very much. Now, before I go, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, share this video out, and leave a comment to tell me what you think. And please tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, and even those neighbors to tune in to watch Wolfcook cook another delicious restaurant quality meal. Again, thanks for watching, and see you soon.